Everyone. Welcome to everyone that's joining at the moment. We will just wait about 30 seconds or so, just give everyone a chance to connect and join properly. But yeah, welcome and thanks for everyone for coming along today to the session. But yeah, we'll get started really soon. All right, well, we might kick off. So thank you everyone for attending today's session. My name's Ben Gillam. I'm part of the Future Students team here at the University of Tasmania. And as you can see on the screen, we're diving into the topic of social work today. So yeah, we're really excited for you to join. And hopefully this will be a great interactive session that you can get all your questions answered and get some great info around social work. Before we dive into any of the content though, I'd like to do an acknowledgement of country. I would like to recognise the Aboriginal history and culture of the land and acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners to elders past, present and emerging on the land in which we stand today and the land of which all our University of Tasmania campuses stand as well. So what are we covering today? So we are going to go in through a bit of information about why I study at the University of Tasmania in general. I'll go through a little bit of housekeeping as well and introduce who's going to be talking to you today. And then we're going to obviously dive into the topic of social work. So we're going to go through why become a social worker, touch on a few of the course options, talking through a bit of placement. And then we're going to go through some key information on how to apply and your next steps as well in terms of starting with us at the university. We'll go through both domestic and international side of things as well in terms of the general info. And we've also got an option to be able to do Q&A as well. In terms of Q&A though, at any point you've got any questions that come through, all you need to do is navigate to the Q&A button that's in your Zoom app and then pop in any questions that you might have. As I mentioned, we want to make this as interactive as possible. So if you've got any questions that might be specific to you, studying at UTAS in general, questions around social work, please let us know. And we'll either answer these in a live format towards the end, or we'll be able to answer that in the back end as well. We do have with us today, Lara, who's going to be helping out with our chat support. So any questions, Lara will be able to help you out. And we've also got Ian, who's going to be talking a bit later on for the international side of things and can answer any of those international student inquiries as well. Before we get into our social work content though, I do just want to talk through some really key areas that we like to cover around UTAS and why you'd want to study with us as well. The one that always stands out to me that I think is really important to look at is what we have in regards to a strong student satisfaction rate. So we have an 81% satisfaction rate with teaching quality and engagement. The end of the day, you're going to spend a large amount of time studying. It could be anywhere from 3 to 5 years, depending on what you're looking at studying. And so you want to make sure when you are going through that your teaching quality and also the engagement you get from the course is at a high standard. And then that's something that we really pride ourselves on, is what we get in that student satisfaction rate. On top of that, when you do study, obviously your end outcome for most people is to get some great graduate outcomes. And we have 85% of our full-time employment availability for our graduates, which is higher than the actual national average as well of 80%. So it's great to know that when you are studying with us at UTAS, it does lead to some incredible graduate outcomes as well. One thing that we always talk through, no matter what course you do with us, the student support you have available to you at UTAS is incredible. We have a lot of one-on-one support available, whether that's working with the future student team like myself when you're looking at your next steps of study, or even with our academic staff, we can get one-on-one support through the course you might be studying. It's something that is really important to us at UTAS to make sure students are supported all the way through, and we make sure we can give you all the information that you have. And we'll touch on this a bit further on in the presentation. And then also something you may have heard about us before within the University of Tasmania is what we're doing in the sustainability space. So we are #1 in the world for climate action, and it's something we're incredibly proud of, and we always scream from the rooftops because we are the leaders in this space. And no matter what course you are doing, you'll be able to see the impacts that we are doing in this space and also how you can be involved as well. So Now we are going to dive into our content. I am going to introduce you to our academic today, who's going to be covering all the great information. We have Dr. Bethany Wilkinson, who's going to be covering the content in social work. So Bethany is our senior lecturer in social work and has an incredible knowledge in this space. And chatting to her outside of this webinar, it's great to see the passion that she does have in this space. So you're in really good hands today. So any questions that you might have, please let us know and we'll get those answered as we go along. But Bethany, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Ben. Yes, I'm a social worker, of course. Before I became an academic, I worked in what we call direct practice. So I am really excited to be here today to talk you through the degree. But that's just an example of how the degree in social work, both the Bachelor of Social Work with Honours and the Master of Social Work qualifying, means that you can move into different spaces with your social work degree. So you can work in direct practice, research, policy, or you could even move into academia if that's what you wanted to do. So if you could move to the next slide, that would be great. So Felicity is a graduated now, Master of Social Work. Well, she's now a social worker, but she was a Master of Social Work student who I know personally. And that's one of the strengths of UTAS, is that most of the academics teaching into the course know our students personally. So I know a little bit about Felicity in that she had another career before she decided to study social work, and was used the Master of Social Work to build on that previous qualification that she had. Yeah. So she says that, sorry, thanks, Ben. So she says that she really enjoyed being able to create that change in her life with the social work degree. So yes, go to the next one, thanks. So Ben was talking about sustainability and how that's a strength for us here at UTAS, but it's also something that we've thought deeply about in relation to the social work degree and making a positive impact. So you might not automatically think of sustainability and social work being intertwined with each other, but if you think about it in relation to decolonisation and the importance of indigenising curriculum, which is really important for us as social workers, thinking about the impacts of colonisation, for example, on First Australians. And it really does help you to develop your critical thinking skills and engage in social action. So that can be, advocating for systems that are already in place. So, helping people out that are disadvantaged, for example, getting a payment for, caring for children, or, a young person who's homeless and, helping them to find housing. But also more broadly in relation to activism. So thinking about, what needs to change outside of the system. A really important point is that there's a great demand for social workers at the moment, both in Tasmania, nationally and worldwide. So you'll always be able to work, and you'll have a lot of choice in the type of work that you do over the course of your degree. For example, in my own career trajectory, I've worked in child protection, mental health, homelessness services before landing in specialising in the domestic and family violence space. So we'll talk a little bit more about this as we move through, but that's just one example. So we are an accredited course with the Australian Association of Social Workers, that's the ASW there. Both of our courses are fully accredited, and that means that once you have finished your degree, you can join the ASW and enjoy the benefits of what's on offer there in relation to, you could go on and specialise in mental health, for example, those types of things. You can also study this degree part-time and full-time. However, the last 2 years, you'll need to be on campus and full-time. I'm sorry, you can do the last 2 years part-time, but you'll need to be on campus. We do have flexibility in the first 2 years of our degree, where there is some online and some in person. We have really good connections with industry, and that helps us to ensure that we're staying current, and that when you graduate, as part of the process of becoming a social worker, you do placement hours, and we ensure that we're staying across what's happening in the field. So we've got 1,000 hours of prac over the last 2 years of our degree, or for our Masters of Social Work qualifying, that's over the 2 years. It sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but it's really worthwhile to give you a deep understanding of what it means to be a social worker in the field, and also to develop your skills under the direct supervision of another social worker. So during that time, you'll meet every week to be supervised in developing your skills. So you have the teaching in the classroom, and then out in the community as well. Often students will pick up a job at the end of placement too. It's not a guarantee, but it does happen. So as I've mentioned, we have a mix of in-person and online across our 3 campuses, and usually you'll be expected to do 1 or 2 classes each week. Your contact hours will vary toward the end of your degree, but in general, you'd be thinking that for each unit of study, you'd be wanting to put aside about 10 hours. So really, if you're a full-time student, it's like a full-time job. Although, you can, because you're not, here from 9 to 5, many students are still able to do work. But really ensuring you get the most out of this degree is being able to apply yourself well. So we do have that self-directed learning on Milo, and that can be, well, it is every week you would have some readings to do. There'll be quizzes, you'd be engaging in discussion boards, and we really work with our educational designers here to make sure that's a really positive experience for students, and that we're meeting people in different ways around their learning needs. Got a little bit ahead of myself here, having talked about placement and supervision. And assessment can happen in a variety of ways. We don't generally do exams in social work, but you'll be asked to do presentations, recording yourself, doing, interviews with clients, role plays, and also more traditional assessments like assignments, reports, those types of things as well. But we try to keep it really interesting. So putting you off there. For example, in one of our first year units, this semester that I'm coordinating, one of our assessments is a series of photographs, and talking to those photographs and how that reflects the students developing social work identity and weaving in what they've learned throughout the unit. Yeah, thank you. So a lot of people ask us, what's the difference between psychology and social work? So in one sense, you might see an advertisement, a job advertisement for a social worker or a psychologist. There is some crossover there. However, psychologists focus more on working with individuals and human behaviour, whereas social workers do work with individuals at a micro level, but we also work with people more in their environment. So we would be looking at how someone is situated in their family, in their community, what types of issues in their broader environment might impact on them. For example, if we were to take working with someone who's homeless, we would consider that to be not only an individual's issue, an individual issue, but really understanding that homelessness doesn't occur in a vacuum. That policy and housing availability, a person's life trajectory will impact on all of those things. Socioeconomic status, their mental health, their what we'd call social capital, so their family supports, those types of things. So really digging into what's underneath, what's going on for the person, and how can we really wrap around that support in multiple ways. We do also, as I've mentioned a couple of times already, we can become mental health accredited social workers. So if you are particularly interested in working in the mental health space, you can do the types of work psychologists do in relation to that micro work. It just offers you a lot of opportunity to move into different spaces. We also might refer to back and forth to each other, social work and psychologists. So we have the 2 degrees. We have the Bachelor of Social Work with Honours and the Master of Social Work qualifying. Now, the difference there is that generally with the Bachelor of Social Work with Honours, the person wouldn't have engaged in a previous degree. They might come straight from school, or they might have done be coming to social work later on in life and have done a TAFE course. And in the Bachelor of Social Work with Honours, it's a 4-year degree. And with the Master of Social Work qualifying, the student would have already completed another degree and have some elements of the behavioural and social sciences as part of those, having that as part of that previous degree. We can do a pathway from for somebody who has a previous degree but doesn't have those social sciences and behavioural units, and pick up some units in the Bachelor of Social Work to feed into a pathway into the Master of Social Work with qualifying. So there's multiple ways that you can enter into these 2 degrees, and our student advisors are really great at helping you through that. So our undergraduate degree is located on all of our campuses, Hobart, Launceston and the Cradle Coast. The ATAR there we've got at the moment is 69.5, and you can also enter the degree via a pathway. So that could be that the diploma of community services, say at TAFE, or a pathway that you've undertaken through the university, a university diploma as well. If you're an international student, there are English language requirements, and our course advisors are across that as well. So this just gives you an idea of what your first couple of years will look like. And you'll see there that we've got a new unit, interpersonal skills. And that is because that we're really concerned with, keeping our course current And so we've recently done a review and, responded to industry and also responded to the needs of students around how we can best serve them in developing their skills. And so one of the bits of feedback that we had was that it's important for students to be developing those interpersonal skills earlier on in their degree before they go out on placement. So because the nature of social work is, that we're largely dealing with people at the coalface, then it is really important that we do have you in the classroom for a good chunk of the degree so that we can be developing and modelling what it is that's expected of you in those spaces. So you heard us talk about sustainability before, and that's something that we've got embedded in the second year of our degree. And while you might not see the word sustainable later on in the degree, the ideas around sustainability and decolonisation and indigenising our curriculum are threaded all through our course, and really sets us out as this is our area of interest and specialisation in relation to what we can offer in the social work space. So then I might just get you to move to the next slide, if you don't mind, Ben. Thank you. So we have the Master of Social Work qualifying and our third and fourth years of the degree look very similar in relation to what's offered, but we're bearing in mind that our Master of Social Work qualifying students, they already have a degree, and they will need to be assessed at a higher level than our bachelor students. So while it looks similar on the surface, we are offering something different to our Master of Social Work qualifying students. Could you pop to the next slide? Oh, yeah, great, thank you. So here you can see what your third and fourth, or your first and second years, in the case of the Master of Social Work qualifying students, what your course will look like. Again, you'll see 2 new units there highlighted in yellow, and that is again, we've done that because we're responding to feedback from industry and students. And so you can see that we've got a really big focus on collaboration, theory, communication, and drawing out responses to violence, abuse, and trauma. Thinking about things more deeply, like the trauma associated with asylum seekers, domestic and family violence, child protection, those types of things. And you can see that in this this diagram, the last 2 years here, that practicum takes up quite a bit of time. So just really making sure that you're prepared for that ahead of time. We do offer a payment, which I'll talk about. The government offers a payment to help you with that, so it's important that you know about that. I don't think there's anything else that I'll mention here. Maybe some questions will come up towards the end. In relation to your placement, the university will organise your placement for you. Some people are really curious to know if they can utilise where they're working as a placement, or previous experience that they've had working in the field as one of their placements, and that can often be possible. And it's a matter of applying to our statewide field education manager and asking, presenting a case for recognition of prior learning, because we recognise that some people do come into the degree with prior experience that we really need to take into account. The Commonwealth payment is the payment that I was referring to before, and it's available to our domestic students. And I understand we're going to put a link in the chat if you want to find out a little bit more about that. Oh, thank you. Thanks for that, Lara, dropping the recognition of prior learning in there. So this is a great visual of what you might want to do with your social work degree. And I'd also add that there's much more that you can do as well. So this is just some examples. And I talked a little bit before about my own career trajectory in different spaces. So social work is, it's a generalist degree, and there'll be areas of specialisation that you'll develop as you go, and you'll find out more when you go out on placement as well. So these examples are really great in that you can be working with the individual as a counsellor, you can be doing youth work, but probably as a youth worker, you'd be doing more at a higher level with a degree. So you might also have other workers that are coming to you for advice. So this is, differentiating between the diploma and the degree here. Project management work you might do for the government. That could be in any area. Child protection, for example, policy I touched on before, and that might be, education policy. It could relate to aging. There's all sorts of possibilities. Yeah, I think that's it there.
Great. Thanks so much, Bethany. That was incredible information. And as you can see from all those slides there, that no matter what you do in this course, it can lead to obviously some great career outcomes. And something that's worth noting as well, it was on the previous slide, that 9 out of 10 students get full-time employment within 4 months of completing their degree, which seems much higher than the national average as well. So you've got some really good job security in that space. In terms of studying with us at UTAS, you do have some great support. I did touch on this a little bit earlier at the start. But in terms of the study support you've got available, we do have what's called our peer-assisted study sessions that you can go through. Bethany also mentioned as well our student advisors and the incredible support you can get through them, whether that's looking at your course structure or what you're going through during your studies at the time. Our team here is really dedicated to make sure that you can succeed to the best of your ability. We've also got great learning workshops and 24-hour study support available for you there too. So no matter the time that you're looking at and the support you need, we are here to help out where possible. There's some great options as well in terms of career guidance. So chatting amongst people that you're in the course with, also talking to academics around some career support is always a good option. Previous slide that you saw before, in terms of social work, there are so many different avenues you can go down, and you'll be able to explore that further a lot with your placements, and you'll be able to get a better understanding of the area you want to go through. But there are some opportunities to connect with mentors and professional associations. We often at UTAS have opportunities to register for some volunteering opportunities too that could get your foot in the door in the future as well as student job boards that we've got available as well for students. The great thing as well that we've got available is counselling and wellbeing services for our students. So you might need some support, whether that's something you're going through personally outside of your studies. There might be some more academic support you need as well, mental health concerns. We've got some great team members available to help support you, whether in person or online, depending on what your preference is. And it's all confidential and it's professional counselling. And this service here is really to make sure our students are supported within the classroom and also outside of it as well, depending on what your situation is and what support you might need as well. But at any point, if you are going through any difficulties, please just reach out to our team and there'll be someone there that can guide you to the best sort of tool that you might need or the person that can help you along the way. So just having a quick look now around just fees, scholarships and application process. There might be a few students that are at different points that have already applied, already received offers, or maybe you're just still considering study in the future. We'll go through all those steps for you. But firstly, in terms of fees and costs associated, this is more so for domestic students. We do have on our course pages outlines of what your fees will look like for a full-time year of study as a Commonwealth supported place. But in terms of having a Commonwealth supported place as well, you are eligible to apply for a help loan through the government. And this is a great way to make sure your fees are looked after while you are studying, and it's something you don't need to worry about until you've finished your studies. This really just takes away that financial barrier, and majority of our students do utilize this because it's something that can help with that financial burden and give you the opportunity to really focus on your studies. And as Bethany mentioned too, we obviously have the great initiative that's come through where you get your prac placements as well. So just more reasons that you've got time to focus on your studies and worry about the financial burden a little bit later. But at any point you need support around financial services, we do have a team there that can help support you in that space as well. We've got some generous scholarships available across UTAS. So whether it's course specific or maybe based around relocating to Tasmania if you're an interstate or international student as well, we've got some incredible scholarships available. Just jump onto our website where we've got an A to Z listing available where you can look through. I think Lara might pop that into our chat there so you can have a look through. Some scholarships for next year have probably already closed, but we do still have some of our large scholarships available, such as our support to study scholarship that helps with your relocating as well. But yeah, jump onto our scholarship portal and that's where you'll start your application and answer a few questions and apply for those scholarships that you might be eligible for. So what are your next steps? So as I mentioned, depending on the step you're at the moment, we've got obviously support available across all those areas. If you are looking at applying, it is just done through our website and it's quite quick and easy, which is great and free. You just head to utas, .edu.au/apply. And then just follow the steps. So putting in your basic information, you'll have 5 preferences that you can pop in. Obviously the Bachelor of Social Work at the top or your Masters. And then if you've got any other pathway courses you might be looking at that you want to pop in there, it's always good to have those in there. And then whatever you're eligible for, you will receive an offer for as well. So you might actually get multiple offers depending on what you've put in as your preferences. Your next step when you receive your offer is decide what you're going to do next. So if you accept your offer, that's great. That's going to hold your place. You do have options to defer depending on the courses you're looking at, or an option to reject your offer as well. We always recommend accepting your offer, especially if you're on the fence about what your studies might be next year. That way you hold your place. And then when it comes to enrolling, you can choose what you want to do at that point as well. And in terms of enrolling, it's quite simple. You'll be able to go through and select your units in semester 1, and that's the subjects you're going to be studying during that first half of your year. If you need any support though, enrolling might be tricky if you've never done that before, if you're coming back to study for a long time being away, just call through to our team. We're happy to help, or you can book in a one-on-one session as well. And we can just go through and help you and make sure your units are all enrolled. And even if it's just for us to jump online and double check that you've done it all correct, we can give you that peace of mind as well. So definitely let us know. We're here to support you at every step of the way, depending on where you're at. So we're going to dive into the international student space. So Ian, I might pass over to you.
Thank you, Ben. Hello, everyone. My name is Ian, and I'm from International Recruitment Team. And I look up to Taiwan market, and thank you very much for joining us today. In this section, I will quickly walk you through the application process, tuition fee, and scholarship available for international students at the University of Tasmania. So at this page, let's start with application. You can apply directly online through our university website at utas.edu.au/apply. It's a very simple process. You just need to create an account and then upload all your required documents and select the course you're interested in. Or if you wish, you can always nominate an agent in your region to help you with the application process. You can go to UTAS main page and then search for our agent partners, and then you can find one close to you. And next one is about fees. If you wish to find out how much tuition fee for your degree for international student, you can find it at the link Lara left in the chat box earlier on, courses and unit handbook there. And you can also find another one that listed under fees and scholarship at each degree page, towards the end of that degree page. And now let's move to the scholarship. We have different scholarship that are available for international students. Let me see. Okay. The first one I would like to talk about is the early. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. The first one I would like to include here is that in the page, that is the early acceptance scholarship, which is available for semester 1 intake 2026 only. It gives you a 15% fee discount for the entire duration of your degree study. If you accept your offer early before 15th of December 2025, you'll be entitled to this early acceptance scholarship. Another scholarship that you can see on the slide is the Tasmania International Scholarship, or we call it TIS, T-I-S. It's a merit-based scholarship, and you will be automatically assessed for the TIS scholarship once your application is submitted. There's no need to file a separate application for this scholarship. And it offers a 25% reduction to your tuition fee, and also is available for the entire duration for your study, as long as you maintain satisfactory academic result during your study. The good news is that if you qualify for both, you can actually combine the two together. Then you will get a 35% total reduction in your tuition fee. And on top of those, we also have other options available on our scholarship page for specific program or for specific regions as well. Next page. Thank you, Ben. If you like to have more information, or if you have questions after this webinar, you can easily reach us. You can visit the following link, utas.edu.au/study/international and then /contact to find your local contact or book a chat with one of our regional representatives. In that link, you can find, we will have international representative for a lot of the countries listed there. So find one that is in your region. Or you can simply email us anytime at yours.study@utas.edu.au, and our team will be happy to help you with any question that you might have. So that's a very quick overview. So we look forward to welcoming you to beautiful Tasmania. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ian. That was incredible. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. So covering the content. I know we've had quite a few good questions come through already, but if you've got any questions, as I mentioned earlier, please just pop them in the Q&A chat. We'll either answer them live right now, or we'll just give you a written response as well. I think Lara, though, from our team is going to jump in and touch on a little bit around some entry requirement questions we've had come through. So I'll pass over to you, Lara.
Thanks, Ben. And the only reason I am doing this is because there's been a lot of questions around entry requirement, and I will cover it from the point of view of the recruitment perspective. And Bethany, if you want to jump in at any point, please feel free. But for the undergraduate program, so that is a completion of a diploma level or higher within Australia, and that also includes our Diploma of University Studies, so we do have a social work program, and And you can also look at our university prep program as well as part of that. And there's also the opportunity to put forward an application with something like a Certificate 3, for example, and include a personal competency statement. So all of those things are in the undergraduate space. And obviously it is different for our Year 12 market, but just in the adult learner space, and that's what I'll stick to for now, in the adult learner space, it is based off previous study or previous experience, or if you have any, you know, post-secondary qualification that may fit the bill. So the one thing that I will say about entry requirement is it is like absolutely listed on our website. So if you have a look at A4S, which is the Bachelor of Social Work with honours, the undergraduate, so that outlines everything from a domestic point of view, so domestic onshore students, and also an international point of view as well. And there was some questions around IELTS as well. So the thing around IELTS is that students must have that 7 requirement, because it's actually governed by an external body. So AASW is the external body, and the reason why that's set at that, and the reason why we as an institution do that requirement or have that requirement, is because that's actually set by that governing body, because it's an accredited course. And Bethany, I don't know if you want to add anything else to the undergraduate before I jump to the master.
No, not unless there's any specific questions. I think you've covered it really well.
Awesome. Thank you. And so just in relation to the master, and this is really important, so the only difference between an international student and a domestic student with the master program is the IELTS. So it is the IELTS test. It needs to be that 7 again. But if you have studied anything in a previous area, such as psychology, so there's going to be a long list here, psychology, sociology, criminology, so that's basically all of our Bachelor of Arts, geography, education, history, law, health, nursing, disability studies, philosophy, political sciences, Indigenous studies, or gender studies. All of those things are bachelor degrees in a related field, and they're recognised by our admissions team. So our admissions team will look to see if you've done anything in those particular fields, and the study must be at least 1 year full-time or equivalent, and that needs to combine a social and behavioural science as well within the last 10 years. So there was a question there around a 2008 study, so it needs to be within the last 10 years. So that would be currently out of date, only because it's obviously been, oh no, hang on, 2008 would be 2018. I can't do basic maths. So yes, it would be out of date. But what that looks like is, if you apply for the master program, there is actually an entry pathway to the master, and that includes completing 8 units of the undergraduate and then moving through into the master. And I don't know if you want to mention anything around that, Beth?
Yeah,
Denise?
so
Sorry.
that's all right. Thank you, Lara. I would just say that, you know, if you, for example, if you finished a degree in 2008, and since that time you've been working in the community services sector, and you feel like you've got this really strong case, then I would still be approaching us and saying, okay, well, look, I don't have that degree in the last 10 years, but this is what I've been doing. And we, you know, that's certainly something that we could consider on an individual basis, and possibly have approved at a higher level if, you know, that's occasionally we get those types of situations that you know, warrant, you know, further consideration based on what the person's been doing in relation to their work. And it might mean that, you know, maybe they just need to do less units coming into the degree or something like that. But yes, certainly start the conversation is what I'm saying.
Awesome. And when, so obviously the application process is different, if international compared to domestic, but if you are a domestic student looking to apply, there is an opportunity to still place forward a personal competency statement and also a resume as well. or a CV. So it showcases all of the experience that you may have had within a particular field if you have been working within those fields since graduating from your degree, if it is post 10 years. The other thing I will say is the Diploma of Counselling is also a great pathway into the Bachelor of Social Work with honours, and it is something that can be done fully online. So that is another entry point, and it is delivered in a part-time basis. So it's 2 units a semester, Bethany, is that right?
Yes, it is. But
Yep.
when we've also, I don't know if you mentioned this one, the Diploma of Applied Health and Community Support. Did you?
No, I didn't, but that is another pathway. So that's a
Yeah.
really good one. I'll leave you to mention it.
So yes, there's multiple pathways into the degree is what we're saying, and some of those are provided by the university, by UTAS, and we also consider TAFE to be an equivalent diploma, and sometimes it's also we've had a look at other diplomas outside of the TAFE that are focusing on community services. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks,
Awesome.
Bethany and Lara. They were great. One question that I've got for you, Bethany, obviously with prac placement being quite a large part of the course, can you give some examples of what some of the placement students are doing at the moment?
Oh yes, that's great. So we might have I was trying to think. So we have students out in big non-government organisations. I won't mention organisations' names, but working on placement in family and community services, in child protection space, disability, schools. You know, we really have quite a lot of connections within the community. We also, occasionally have students doing online placements, and that's because the nature of social work is changing, and you know yourself that you might have engaged in counselling online, for example, or some sort of health assessment. So we have social workers in hospitals, pretty much you name it, we're out there in the community in Tasmania. Yeah.
Brilliant. And then off the back of that, what are some of the requirements that are needed by a student to be able to go out on placement?
Okay, so it'd be good to speak more directly with our field education statewide coordinator, but we do actually have, if someone could pop in the chat, the field education requirements, that would be super helpful for social work. But before you go out on placement, you need to be fully vaccinated and have done a police check and a working with children check, and all of these types of checks and immunisations need to be happening as you're moving through the degree, so that everything's ready for you to go when you hit year 3, or as you move into the Master of Social Work qualifying. We'll run seminars and let students know exactly what's required for them moving into placement, but really we lead you through that. You're not expected to do anything without being guided, so you don't need to worry about that at all.
Yeah,
And
brilliant.
then there's just a live question from, there's a question from Lloyd that we'll answer live.
Yeah.
So if a student is working in similar roles, can that reduce the time of requirement of a prac? So you did touch on this before, Bethany, but I thought you might want to again.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Lloyd, for asking that. And I'm so glad to hear that you come in today. We certainly want to recognise students' experience that they have already in the field, and that's just a matter of putting together a portfolio, and then you submit that to our statewide field education manager. Then you do a presentation for a panel. I've been on one of those panels, and we ask you a series of questions to ensure that you've got the required knowledge. And then as long as all of those hurdles, tasks have been met, then often you can get recognition of prior learning. But we're really careful about it because we have to be making sure that we adhere to the standards with the Australian Association of Social Work, but we also understand that, you know, that work experience can be highly relevant, and encourage students to put forward that application and do that presentation.
Brilliant. Thanks, Bethany. I've got another question for you, Bethany. Just in regards, we obviously talked through support quite a lot throughout the presentation. What sort of support is available for someone that's in one of the bachelor or master courses in social work at UTAS?
Well, there is quite a lot of support available. Do you mean within the degree?
Yeah, within the degree, yeah. What would it
Yeah.
look like for a social work student?
Okay, so, well, I'm the course coordinator for the bachelor and the master. So you could always come and see me if you wanted to, you know, find out a little bit more, if you had some, you know, you had some concerns, or you wanted to, you know, make a change to your study plan. Equally, the student advisors can help you with that type of thing. All of the academics in social work, we're all social workers. So it's kind of runs through our blood that we want to be available to students to support them through their degree. So we know our students really well, and we, you know, we encourage people to be asking for help, and we, you know, we're very responsive around that. And we're also a really connected team as well. So we share information with each other in relation to what support is required. So we really are that sort of united team around what we can be doing to support students to get through. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Obviously in really good hands when they come through, which is great.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
I actually have a question. Can I ask Bethany?
Yeah.
Hi, Bethany.
Yes.
You mentioned about that 14 weeks placement. Can student, you might have mentioned it, but I might have missed it. Can student do both placement, like 14 weeks in one place, or it has to be two separate places?
Oh, they have to be two different placements.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the one's in third year and one's in fourth year, and they are really different levels of skill and knowledge that we're assessing in both of those placements as well.
Right. Thank you. And the placement will only be in Tasmania, or will
No,
it be...
that we have placements on the mainland as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so we can be super flexible, providing we've got the contacts. Yeah, we're very open to that sort of thing. Yeah.
Good to know. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ian.
We've got one last question that's come through, and Ian, it's actually going to be directed towards you. Just in regards to international students, and I've seen a few previous questions as well. How long does it take for students to receive an offer? And also, is there an offer fee related to their offer letter?
Well, thank you, Ben. Actually, the application, we don't charge for application. So the process of application is totally free. So don't worry about it at all. And earlier I left a message in one of the chat saying that the application might take up to 4 weeks-ish for admission to process it. And how long will it take to get a COE? It depends, really. It's once you get the offer, you have to sign, return your acceptance, and then pay deposit, and then they will process your COE. So it might take another, 2 to 3 weeks to finally obtain the COE. It's about the time frame that is.
Brilliant. That's really, really helpful. That looks like it's it for questions. We've had some really incredible questions that have also been answered in the chat as well by everyone in the team, which is great. So we will finish up there. But Bethany, is there anything else that you'd want to finish on? Final words of advice for anyone looking to study with us?
I have just found being a social worker to be an incredibly satisfying career. That has taken me in many directions and might just take me in other directions as well. There's just so much that you can do. So I think that, it'd be really, you'd find it a satisfying career.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's some nice words to end on. I just want to say a big thank you for everyone that did join us today. We had quite a few people come on, which is good to see. And thank you so much for all those incredible questions that you did have. Lara did pop in quite a few great handy links. So if you've got any further questions that you might have, please reach out to our team. We are available here to support and chat to you, whether you're a domestic or international student. You're in good hands. As mentioned as well, this has been recorded. So if you are looking to review this, keep an eye out for your emails. We'll send the recording to you plus some extra additional information. But if you need any support along the way, whether applying, accepting your offer, enrolling, just reach out to our team because we're really, really happy to help. And a big thank you to Bethany, Lara, and Ian, who's helped as well with the presentation today. We got some obviously great information and questions answered. But yeah, thank you everyone and have a lovely evening.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Bye,
Thanks
everyone.
everyone.